Hi, cooperators. Thanks. Welcome and thanks for watching this video. My name is Barkos. I'm one of the founder members of the Mass Democratic Civil Movement. I always give this movement a nickname and say it's nothing else but the people themselves. So the acronym is MDCM, the people. Mass Democratic Civil Movement is a non-profit organization that was incorporated 2020 in terms of a non-profit organization act of 1997. It's not a political party, just to make some people feel at ease. It's a civil movement. Now, it being a civil movement, it is formed around the concept of mobilizing the civil society. So we mobilize people who think and feel that there is something that needs to be done, wherever they are and whatever problems we have or we may be facing as individuals or as a group or as a collective, as a society. And we mobilize such people. So we mobilize people who are self-respecting, who are law-abiding, and people who think and feel that it is actually important to do something whenever you're faced with any problem as a member of a civil society. It doesn't matter whether that problem is a social problem, economic problem, or a political problem. Of course, there will be those who would take a different view and say perhaps there is no need for a movement of this nature. Well, good luck to those. Some of us, whenever we see problems, we look at them, analyze them, interpret what we see, and come up with an action plan. And not only do we do that, some of us, we actually stand up and do it. Mass Democratic Civil Movement, having said that it is not a political movement, it is, however, not apolitical. What I mean by that is that MTCM, at all material time, it will always remain sensitive to the development, to the political developments in the country, in the continent, and globally. So the main objective here of this movement is nothing else but to improve the socio-economic conditions of the people of the Republic of South Africa, us, the people, irrespective of race, creed, gender, or sexual orientation. We're not interested in any of those. We are interested in improving the socio-economic conditions of all of us. Now, that is a mammoth task. And to transform a society, a very old society, such as our society, such as South Africa, and pull it out of the morass that it finds itself in, it's a big job. And no one individual can pull it off. This problem needs all of us, or at least many of us. Here we're talking about problems that started centuries ago, and they only got worse. This country has moved since 1652 from one hand to the other. It was at some point handled by the Dutch, taken from them by force by the English. And then the English left us with the Afrikaners who took over. Of course, now they were Afrikaners and they were mixed. And then our African brothers took over. And now we're under the rule of our own brothers. But the situation is getting worse. So the problem now is how do you change a society as old as this one and redirect its potential and put it back to the right path and moving towards the promised future? Like I said, we need each other on this one. There is no silver bullet. There is no one who knows it all. We have got to, all of us, put our brains together, work together, collaborate, stop competing, finger pointing. We need to come together and say, we can do it and we are going to do it. We must do it in any case. If we don't do it, who is going to do it? I remember in many WhatsApp groups that I'm part of, shame, a lot of my colleagues, friends, every day, they wake up in the morning and post, and you can sense the frustration that they have about the situation in the country, the social ills that we are faced with, the economic degradation, social disintegration, the lack of political leadership. And you can really palpate their frustration. But unfortunately, for as long as we just talk about it and do nothing about it, things can only get worse. And the question is that needs to be always asked and, of course, answered. If we have a problem, the question is, what do we do with it? If we think something needs to be done, the question is, what needs to be done? And after we have answered that one, and the next question that will follow, who is going to do it? And the next question that will follow immediately after that is, when can it be done? Maybe let me just share a little bit of historical background, about the mass democratic civil movement. When we started, we incorporated 2020. It was actually 3 years after I had successfully promoted Pro-Medical Primary Cooperative. I'm not going to say much about Pro-Medical Primary Cooperative. Those of you who don't know about it, you can just go to Google. You can just go to Dr. Google and Google Pro-Medical Primary Cooperative. Go to our website. There's all sorts of material there if you want to know more about Pro-Medical Primary Cooperative. 3 years after promoting Pro-Medical Primary Cooperative, I came to the realization that the cooperatives were in trouble. And remember, we were sitting with a document that was formulated around the promotion and the development and promotion of cooperatives, formulated by DTI, I think around, it was 2009. It was a DTI, it's called Department of Trade and Industry Strategy on the Development and Promotion of Cooperatives in South Africa. That document came as a result of the idea of cooperatives having been punted around 2001, and Thabo Mbeki was in charge at the time. And it led to the Cooperatives Act 2005. He enacted the act. Of course, the idea, and he meant good, the idea was brilliant, was to make the economy of South Africa, to a large extent, driven by the people, by the cooperatives. So it was one way of accelerating economic growth and inclusive economic growth, and that would actually lead to equal distribution of wealth. Somehow, one way or the other, it would assist in achieving that goal. And come 2009, the Department of Trade and Industry came up with a strategy, and they gave themselves 10 years and said, in 10 years, we want to see very stable, successful cooperative businesses throughout the country and in all sectors of the economy. We were excited, most of us. Around 2005, I was in NAFCOC when all this good news came, and all of us, we embraced the idea of cooperatives. We saw it as a master plan to get everyone on board to participate in the main economic stream, as opposed to Black economic empowerment, which did nothing else but to give business opportunities to those who were politically powerful or who were politically connected one way or the other. And we all know that what that disastrous policy led us to. We ended up having people being chosen now over and over again, now and again, in all the deals or business deals in the country. We ended up calling them the usual suspects, because we already knew that when there's an empowerment deal, we know that it's going to be one of those people who come from the leading party, who are associated with the leading party, or who are supporters or sympathizers of, but you have got to be very close to the table when these guys are eating. So some of us, because we're not very lucky, I was never a beneficiary of anything that has to do with BEE. I was never interested. I've always started my own businesses from the scratch, and half of them failed, half of them made it through. So some of us believed in this BEE thing. So we thought that this cooperative piece of legislation and the plan from the Department of Trade and Industry would actually assist us to. Come 2020, then I came to and myself, and of course, and the people that I work with at the office, and the advisors, the legal guys, we came to the conclusion that no, this idea that at some point the cooperatives are going to be the drivers, or they will be at the center of driving this economy, is just an empty promise. The state is not serious about it, and therefore we needed to do something. That is how Pro-Medical therefore was born. And of course, initially, I took the view that the best place for mass democratic civil movement would be to focus on the cooperatives, because the cooperatives, they have everything to offer. I mean, cooperatives as a business, the fact that they tend to be entrenched within communities, and they tend to embrace the culture of various communities, and they tend to also be sensitive to any social ills that prevail in that particular community. And cooperatives do not necessarily focus on business, but they also look at other areas where the various communities are battling. So I always look at cooperatives as an end-to-end solution, or one-stop shop, so to say, because in as much as they deal with the issue of businesses, economic empowerment of the communities, but they also deal with other matters that relate to a culture, that relate to the values of a society. So that's why most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, to me, it's the way of doing business. Of course, I do business 10% of the time that is just private outside the cooperatives, but most of the time I work with the cooperatives. So that was the idea 2020. But 2019, 2020, I mean, that is about 26 years post 1994. I realized that the cooperatives, they had a very high mortality rate. They were dying. I mean, contrary to what the Department of Trade and Industry wanted to achieve, in fact, they achieved the opposite. Over 10 years, a large number of cooperatives, they would not even see the light of the day in 6 months, over 10 years. And when we looked at the reasons, we found that just to summarize the reasons for the failure of cooperatives to take off in the country, it was nothing else but the lack of a political will. People were trying, people embraced the concept of cooperatives, were crisscrossing the country, starting cooperatives everywhere, but they were just dying. And the reason was just simple. The politicians were not interested. In fact, what actually was even depressing, even South African Communist Party, even COSATU, they were not interested. To explain myself on that one. But I can tell you now, the fear of having the cooperatives at a workplace for the unions is real, because they know the power of the cooperatives. That if the workers can embrace the cooperatives, I'll do a video one day in the cooperatives, and then they will simply exit the unions, because then they will be having the economy on their heads. So the fear is real. So once we realized that, there was no political will, then we knew that moving forward, it was going to be very difficult, or if not impossible, for the cooperatives to survive. And then mass democratic civil movement had to go back to the drawing board and say, maybe the advocacy is not enough. To advocate and lobby on behalf of the cooperative is not enough. Perhaps we need to actually play a major role in driving the cooperatives. But now, to drive the cooperatives, you must remember that you are dealing now with politics as well. Because if you are not in power and you do not control the politics of the country, or you do not have the political power, you still have a big problem. Therefore, the question was, where do we start? So we had to then go back to the drawing board and say, let us now revisit our aims and objectives. What our aims and objectives should be. And then we said, look, we need now cast our net wider. So we're dealing with the broader picture here. We're not dealing with only failure to support the cooperatives, but we're dealing with the problem in the country as a whole, at all levels. We're dealing with the problems at the national level, we're dealing with problems at the provincial level and local level. And we're dealing with social problems, we're dealing with economic problems and political problems. So we had to come and look at all these things and analyze them one by one. And then we realized that we needed to take a different shape as a MDCM. Some of the people who claim today to be they call themselves RET forces or something like that, Radical Economic Transformation Forces. I wonder what they mean by that, because there's nothing radical in what they're saying. Some of their leaders, the top leaders, they were in office. Some of them were in office 99, fired 2005, resurfaced somewhere in Polokwane 2007, before 2019, leading the country, and then get fired again in 2018. Now you ask yourself, where was this radical economic transformation when the cooperatives were dying so fast and in numbers? And I've never heard a word from them about the cooperatives. The only thing that we saw for almost a sweet 9 years, we saw our country being auctioned to just an ordinary Indian family, just people who came here in South Africa selling computers. In fact, I think the one guy was selling shoes. I mean, I think he had Melrose Arc, he was selling shoes. And in Midrand, I know their company because I used to do business in Midrand. I had offices there. I was not far from them. They were selling computers there. Anybody can sell computers. It's a shop. You can but they were importing, not even manufacturing. And our country was auctioned to such people. And fast forward, post 2018, boom, the country, in fact, that process started long ago. It's being auctioned to the Chinese, the yellow men. So once you see these things, you ask yourself, where are we going? Where are we going to end up? So then we have to have the vision to say, what is our vision? What do we want to see? What is our end goal? What do we want to achieve out of the existence of mass democratic civil movement, given the problems that I've already highlighted right now? Of course, one had a choice. It's either you take the problems head on or you quit. And one thing for sure, the quitters never win and the winners never quit. So some of us, we do have that nerve of saying, okay, fine, we are going to do something and we're going to take the problems head. So what we want to achieve now, the first thing that we're looking at, because it's so complex, I don't want to lie to anyone. This is very complex. Sometimes you don't know where to start. In my view, if you want to achieve anything, the first thing is that you yourself need to understand what is the problem. And then if you know that alone you won't be able to do it, you need to start educating other people or engaging with other people. Educate each other. Each one teach one. Educate each other about the problem. Persuade each other. Disagree or agree to disagree. And where you agree, move forward and move fast. For our purpose as a MTCM, the first prize was to start. In fact, we have started. So our first prize was to start to educate the people in every aspect of their existence. Because without the people supporting the idea of mass democratic civil movement, its existence and what it's achieved, without them understanding the problems that they are faced with, then they won't be able to do anything. So the first thing is to actually make sure that the people understand their social problems, where they come from, why they have this problem now. Why do we have these children that are taking nyaupe every day and doing nothing? Why the sports grounds are the way they are? Why the tennis courts now is a place of parties where these young people drink alcohol in the tennis courts in the township? Why the soccer fields are what they are? I mean, you can't even a tractor, I'm sure even a tractor won't be able to do its work there. Why is that? They need to understand that. Why their schools are like this. Why the schools in the townships do not look like the schools in the suburbs. After so many years, so many decades, post-democracy. So it's important that people need to understand their problems, their economic problems, and they need to understand politics. What is politics? Where does it come from? Why are these people, so-called politicians, are able to get away with murder? They are able to do anything with impunity. Why is that? And how can people access justice? What is justice? So if people start understanding these things, at least you know that you're getting somewhere. Then you're going to have the people who can be the game changers. But for as long as they don't understand that, we're going to perpetually have these criminals that are masquerading as liberators. We're going to have that every day without fail for decades. And it's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. So we need to do something. And stop complaining. We need to go out there and educate the people. And the people will also educate us back, because at times you would be shocked how much they know. So that's the starting point for mass democratic civil movement. And the other thing is, as mass democratic civil movement, we said we need to do, is to introduce the culture of self-reliance within the communities, self-dependence. And we need to start having people who can be financially independent, who can be able to make means to grow financially, to be independent, to be self-sufficient. If people are still reliant on the state for their survival, we have a big problem. We have a big problem, because that culture of dependency is going to make people not even want to listen to anyone who is coming up with a proposal to say, we can, as the people, we can do things for for ourselves without relying on the state. That is very important. That will assist us in moving forward, in having people who can be able to say, look, I can wake up in the morning and do things for myself. I don't need the state to do things for me. For as long as the government can be able to put together proper legislation that will give us the rights that we deserve, that we can be able to do business, we can be protected, we can have police, we can have hospitals that are functioning, we can have radio stations, radio station licenses when we want. We can have, a right to set up factories and manufacture things that we want. If we have that, then we're okay. The other thing is, for mass democratic civil movement to be successful, it has got to remind the people that they have actually abandoned their rightful position in the country, in making it, in being part of the decision making when it comes to the problems or the matters that affect them daily. If people don't think that they are the ones who must have the final say in any matter that relates to them, and they think that someone else should take care of everything else, and they must be told once this decision has been taken, then we have a big problem. The official position of the people is that of giving direction to the country, not the other way around, not the politician. Throughout history, politicians are known for one thing. Politicians are known for collapsing economy, for creating wars, famine. Politicians are known for wreaking havoc in many, many parts of the world. That's what they are known for. The people have always been taking a backseat and not moving quickly enough. Of course, there were reasons. It's not easy because once you have these politicians and with guns and cannons and they're facing you, tanks and, because of course, if they have a military on their side, and the people are just nothing because they are unarmed. But the best weapon that the people have, the best weapon that is so powerful that politicians fear so much, is that power to vote them in and also that power to vote them out. That's the only tool. The people don't keep tanks in their yards, rockets, they don't keep, but the powerful tool is that vote that they have on their hands. We need to create a society that has got the ambition to take itself to the global stage, a society that is prepared to take the country and put the country on the global map. And that work is quite a lot of work, but it can be done. No one person can do it, but as a collective we can. But the problem is we need to start. If we have not started, we have not done anything. But once you have started, and then you will appreciate the problem as you come across them, navigate the problem, fall and learn not to fall, stand up, move on, and then you know that one day you'll get someone. Now, to achieve all these things, there must be a way. We designed a very simple method. In mass democratic civil movement, we believe in simplifying. We have seen how many organizations, no matter how good they are or how united they are, but we have seen that once you start something and when you really mean good and you do not select the people who are going to be part of your team, this word called democracy will allow everyone to come to your organization or to the organization that you have started or the organization that is a collective with some people that see the same thing that you see. Without proper screening and checking who are the people who are going to be part of that leadership or that administration, then you'll have a problem. So we've seen it. And I don't have to take any time to try and demonstrate what I'm saying. You already know this. We have seen it before. And you can see it right now. You can go to their conferences right now. You would see, I heard that in one of these conferences, these big conferences, about 500 police have been deployed with their vehicles, with everything, with I'm sure there's also ambulances, maybe there must be some emergency personnel, some doctors and, in these conferences. It's because the people that ended up in those organizations were not the right people. The principle of meritocracy is very, very, very important. You do not bring people to a particular organization on the basis that they can go and pull the numbers. No. Numbers, or what you call quantity, should not be important. What should be important is the quality. The fact that the person can go and address 10,000 people and then he comes back and then you make him you make him a hero, and then he becomes a leader in that particular. That is a source of problem. Then you have a big problem. That's what is happening with most of these organizations, the so-called political organizations. You find a person who has got no value to add to the organization, but who just had an opportunity to grab a mic and make noise, and in support of one of those people who were probably fighting against the other, and then by supporting that one, and then this person becomes popular within the movement, and the next thing, before you know, without any credentials, without any track record, just by taking a mic and being in a rally in a stadium because he was brave enough, to talk about certain things, because he had nothing to lose, because he had nothing in any case. And then just because that particular person was able to do that, and then he ended up being a minister just because in a rally, you managed to say things that other senior members of a particular organization were very scared to say. And then this one, because he was younger, and then he had nothing to lose. And then he said the things that he said. And they put one leader in power, and the other leader was taken out of power. And just by having been able to do that, and then you end up being a minister. Then we have some very crazy other examples where just because you come from the youth league, and then now that gives you a right, or a right that you should now be a minister, just because you come from the youth league, but you don't have anything to offer. Nothing, no skills, nothing, no background, no, but I've been leading the youth league. That's a problem. You see, that's a problem. That is why many of these organizations find themselves where they are. In our case, in order to be able to deliver or to be able to achieve what we want to achieve, we have to do things totally differently. Mass democratic civil movement has got a different model, different approach altogether. Our values are totally different. Our principles and values are totally different. And at the center of everything that we do is meritocracy. In fact, at some point, I was contemplating that perhaps I should have, when we registered this organization in 2020, I should have said it's mass democratic, meritocratic civil movement, because that's what it is. That's what is going to happen. That's what is happening. We do not become the leaders of this organization because we go out and talk too much in rallies. So that's why probably most of the people don't know about mass democratic civil movement, because we work with the people. We don't go to rallies. We're only going out now, as we're coming out now with the social media, because there's been a popular demand from the ground to say it's time that now we make we make the country aware of the work that we're doing, as I'm going to share with you later in the video. So our strategy is that from the office down to the supporters and sympathizers at the grassroots level to the projects that we are busy with, everything is based on the principle of meritocracy. We don't care who you are, but if you do not have the qualifications, you do not have the background in a particular industry, if you do not understand the community, your own community, or the community that you have been assigned to work with, you do not understand them, it doesn't matter who you are. What matters here is that we want a person at the right place with the right knowledge, with the right skills and the behavioral attributes. Those are the things that we're looking at. The fact that you are popular in the township or in the rural area, they know you and they are known everywhere in the shippings, it means nothing to us. What is more important is that you are the right person for the job. So that's where we start, for us to be able to achieve all what we want to achieve. So what we did then, we deployed reps. We've got reps. We got the guys, they come on commission. There's no salary. They are all paid on commission. In all the wards and the voting districts, we have got reps that are working on the ground with the community. And these reps, these are MDCM reps, they go out there together with the communities, identify the problems that are actually affecting the communities. And once they have identified this problem with the communities, they do not come and dictate to the community. They discuss with the communities and try and find a solution. And once they have a tentative solution and they all understand the problem, they have engaged, they have run workshops, and then they come to the office at Mass Democratic Civil Movement and present the problem. And then at the office, we then decide what resources are going to be needed to solve. And we assist the reps and the community to solve the problem. So we go out and mobilize any resource that will be needed to solve the problem, the problems that have been identified by the community with the assistance of the reps. And the reps, they also assist quite a lot in running workshops. And again, we support the reps in setting up the workshops that they need to run. We don't run on branches. We don't have branches. Like what I said, we're not a political party. We don't operate that way. And we do not believe in the principle of democratic centralism. We don't want that. We believe in decentralization because we believe human beings have got brains enough to think as long as they have been taught properly. The only thing that you need to do is to educate the person. If you have educated the person, you'll never have a problem. But why people need that democratic centralism is because they don't trust that people can think independently and do the right thing. So they need to be controlled elsewhere. So our reps, they are highly educated. They are highly sophisticated. They know what to do. They know how to work with the communities and report back to the Mass Democratic Civil Movement. And the Mass Democratic Civil Movement Office has got the obligation to assist the reps immediately. So they assist us in educating the communities and also assisting them to understand the socio-economic problems and the politics, because without understanding the politics, it's a big problem. It's a big problem because people will think that these things, they are just dropping from the sky. No, they are caused by human beings, these problems that are there in the townships, and they need to be understood as such. And that will also assist us in actually even start preparing for 2024, because people need to start now voting with their hearts. People need to know now that they need to vote intelligently and use their brains, not how you feel, not use your palpitations. If your heart is beating fast and you think, this is the right or this is the wrong person that I'm voting, no, you need to know that this person is capable of doing 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has been doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's time up. That's how people should be voting in the next general elections. So Mass Democratic Civil Movement, or MDCM, as we speak, we are running quite a lot of programs with the communities, within our communities. We have programs, for instance, that are geared towards imparting skills to the communities, because we believe that people don't just need skills to just survive, you know. You don't just make people survive. We believe that people should have knowledge and skills that can actually make them able not only to survive but also to grow, to develop, and to be able to compete with other nations. We don't want to see a situation where people just things that just get them by, and but they cannot become bigger businesses, or they cannot actually compete as individuals or as a group. And I mean, we want to see the people taking us to the global stage and in terms of the skills, and say, look, this is what we can do in the townships. We can produce this, we can produce that, we can make this, we can, so that is what we basically want, where people can do things for themselves. They can be creative, they can experiment, and with the assistance of the office. Operators, now that we know what Mass Democratic Movement stands for and our commitment to transforming the South African society in a positive way to the benefit of all races, please, I then appeal to you now that you need to assist us in the following manner. There are many ways in which you can assist us that I may perhaps not be able to mention here, but I'll just touch on the very obvious and very easy ones that you can look at. Being a non-profit organization, we rely on donations. Please, 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 assist us with donations. It doesn't matter how much you're donating, as long as you can donate something to assist us to carry out our responsibilities in developing our own communities. It's a lot of work to be done. Your donations will take us very far. We can get somewhere without your donations, but it will take us a very, very long time. But if you donate, it will assist us. If perhaps you feel that donations of any amount is too much for you, you cannot afford it, and then you can look at actually purchasing some of the products and services that we have developed within Mass Democratic Civil Movement. The good thing about Mass Democratic Civil Movement is that from the beginning, we told ourselves that we need to develop products and services that can be sold to the public, And the bulk of that money, of course, after paying for the office and administration, all the money needs to be taken back to the communities and carry out the projects that we have outlined for ourselves. Again, if maybe you feel that donations is too much for you, and purchasing of our products and services developed by Mass Democratic Civil Movement is also too much for you, and then we ask you to just sign up as a rep. That to us is also of great value. And of course, you'll follow the protocol. We have got the rules as well on how to sign up reps. But all you have to do if you want to sign up as a rep is very simple. You send us your CV and the ward to which you belong, and then we'll take it from there. I will give you the email address, WhatsApp, and how you actually send up all those things to us. Again, if maybe you feel donations is too much, purchasing of products and services of Mass Democratic Civil Movement is also too much, and you know you are not able to join us as a rep to assist us in educating our communities, and then maybe you can just do something very simple. All you can do is just to subscribe to our channel. By subscribing to MDCM channel, you are also adding value in the sense that you assist us to monetize the channel. There are rules in YouTube on how to monetize the channel. And one of them is that you need to have at least 1,000 subscriptions. So if you can assist us to reach that number, we view that as a serious contributions, even if it is not monetary contribution. And of course, if you subscribe and then you are able as well to share the video, if you can also do that and share the video with your friends, colleagues, family members, that would be great as well. It will assist us a lot. Again, if you cannot donate, purchase, sign up as a rep, subscribe, just do something very simple, Just click down there, the like button. We call it the like button, it's the icon. Just click the icon, like or dislike. If you click the like, it's good, it encourages us to do more. Well, if you also click a dislike, it means you didn't like the video, it means there were problems with the video. And that also is also positive. It will assist us to develop better videos in the future. And it keeps us on our toes so that we can continue improving ourselves. Remember, a negative feedback is a positive feedback in the space that we are in. Above all, guys, if you cannot do all the things that I've mentioned and you feel that, again, it's just too much for you, all you have to do is just share the video with as many people as you can. Your friends, your colleagues, family members. By sharing the video, it's also assisting us in reaching out to as many people as possible. And if maybe all that, again, is too much, you don't like sharing, you don't like buying anything that MDCM is selling, you don't want to donate, you don't want any of the things that to do, you don't want to do anything that I've mentioned above, just do the minimum now. All you can do is just to send us a topic that you think is interesting to you. And of course, we can engage you. You can tell us if maybe you want us to engage you on that topic. And they will engage you on that topic. You will prepare, we engage you, and they will make it public. And people at least will come to know what is in your mind. And we will also come to know what is in your mind and share with the public. And we take it that it will, of course, something positive that will assist us to grow, and that will assist the people to grow as well. So if you don't have a topic to send to us, you can just comment on whatever we have said on our videos. You can raise questions, some concerns, of course, if you feel there are certain things that they are concerning to you. And then we'll all look at that, and they would be able to say, we have learned something from you, and thank you very much. And then we move forward. And if all that, again, you feel that is too much, you're not in a position to do all that, the last thing you can do, just give us suggestions, how we can improve ourselves. If maybe you feel that we are so bad, we need your suggestions. We need certain things that you see that we're not doing right. Please tell us those things. And like I always say, if we make a mistake or there's something that we don't do right, please tell us. And don't tell others. Just tell us. And when we're doing everything right and we are happy that we're doing right, please tell everyone else. It's the right thing to do. And guys, for the donations, those who would love to donate, remember, any amount is money. Our banking details is Mass Democratic Civil Movement, the bank account, Mass Democratic Civil Movement. It's a Standard Bank check account. The account number is 10 14 124 4788. 10 14 124 4788. It's on the screen. The branch code is 1842, and the SWIFT code, of course, for those who are abroad, is SBZAZAJJ. And guys, for those who would like to join us as reps, like I've said before, all you need to do is to send us your CV and the ward to which you belong, CV and your ward. And then you can send those to our email address, massdemocraticcivilmovement@gmail.com, or you can WhatsApp to 066 258 2262. And those, for instance, who want to contribute in other ways, like, for instance, asking questions, comments, suggestions, any other contribution outside what I've mentioned, you can use the email address and the WhatsApp that is on the screen. Guys, thank you very much. I take it that you understand that this is a mammoth task that we are engaged in, and we won't make it without you. Every contribution, like I've already mentioned, will take us somewhere. Donating, purchasing the products, or sharing the videos with other people won't make you poor. Please do the right thing, assist us. And thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.